Yeah, so I just checked. First day of autumn is Monday, the 22nd. We're still in summer, and we just had white-throated sparrows here. Holy moly. I don't think I was expecting... I mean, I guess it's not that early. But still, it's a little jarring to think, it's summer. That's the thing. And summer can feel like probably long. I think in parts of New England, it can feel pretty long, like southern New England, like Massachusetts, and even where we are in southern New Hampshire. It's just, even if it doesn't begin officially until late June, I mean, by after Memorial Day now, it's just, last 10, 15, 20 years, it's just like, by like that fourth week of May, stuff's pretty warm. And then, it's late September now, and we've still been fairly warm. But it kind of creates this odd, feeling, especially for people that are my age that remember maybe when things were, a few degrees cooler. Because then it's so strange to me that the trees are turning, not all of them, but I mean, it's definitely, some trees are laying down their leaves, some are starting to fall. The light is that yellow shade. And yet, it's still summer. And for all intents and purposes, it still feels like summer. Like when I was a kid, I remember early September, stuff got really cool. Pretty much every year. Yeah, something up here. And so it was, I remember like there was, daylight savings time ended earlier too. I don't remember when it ended exactly. I think it was like early October. But maybe even like late September. But anyway, but like the last like 15, 20 years, it stays warm. And so it doesn't really feel like autumn. It feels really incongruous with what I think of as being autumn from my childhoods, because it's not like it's cool, stuff's, a lot of leaves are falling and everything. No, it's still warm. It's still warm. There's no hint of frost. Some leaves are starting to fall, but the temperatures haven't really dropped, and it's just this very odd feeling. And then I see something like, oh, hey, there's white-throated sparrows over there, and it's like, oh, this is, it's still summer. Yesterday was 81 degrees. It still feels like summer, and now today there's white-throated sparrows here at Mount Auburn, and it just feels like this very, just disjointed to see them and to think, hey, it's not even autumn yet, and it's still warm out. I mean, I'm sure this isn't particularly early for them, but in the past, at least it would be cooler out. It'd be cooling off. It'd be, like this very, it would basically feel like autumn. For all intents and purposes, it would be autumn. And that's how it used to be. So in the future, anyone watching this video, it's like mid-late 80s, early 90s. I mean, it's, August came even, and it was like a relief from the heat of summer. And we had some really bad summers in the mid and late 80s in western Massachusetts. It was, if you talk about global warming now, we had summers just like that in the mid and late 80s. But the difference was August would come and things would dry out and the weather would cool off. The highs would drop like 6, 7, 8 degrees. And by mid-August, it was pretty much, dry, high 70s, low 80s, very low 80s. And up in New Hampshire, it almost feels like that still. I think I made another video where I said it felt like it felt like the summer just kind of ended in mid-August because it cooled off. It did. We had all these like 90-degree days, and then one day it was a 70, the next day it was 70, and it never really got back to where it was. But it's still, in the following weeks we would still have like these like 80-degree days. So we never had like three cool days in a row. It would still be really warm out for these 1 or 2 day stretches, even if it wasn't like 90 anymore. But it's, but right now, even up there, it doesn't, I don't know, it feels a little bit more like it was when I was a kid, but still not quite all the way back, like going back in time. It definitely isn't as the same as down here in Massachusetts, like, 50, 60 miles south. Down here, though, it's just like, man, it still feels really, really warm out here. It still feels very summery. But again, that light is fading. There's leaves all on the ground here, and white-throated sparrows are here. That's pretty much for me like the mark of the beginning of like autumn, and even like impending winter. I think of like juncos and white-throated sparrows as being harbingers of that. But it's still, it's still summer. And that's the oddity of being in New England. You have, like I said before, like the collective gravity of everyone returning to school, all the kids returning to school, kind of pulls everyone into like autumn with them, all across the country, really. But other parts of the country, they start earlier. I think they start in mid-August, like down south, so they don't fry in like June when they're in the classes. But up here, some places do that too. But it's just like gradually, like everyone going back to school kind of pulls everyone into autumn with them. And then September 1st comes, and it's like it's still autumn. I mean, it's still summer technically, but it doesn't really feel like it. And then Labor Day comes and goes, and it's like that's still, and it's, again, that's just like another like sign it's ending. The summer is ending, and then summer actually does end, a few weeks later, and it's just, I don't know. This feels very weird to me. This feels always this. I never know what to do in like early September, because it's like it's not really fall, but it feels like it, and I don't know. Kind of rambling here, but I just said those white-throated sparrows were just so unexpected. I thought I heard them earlier too, but I just brushed it off. I really thought it's just wild. So wild. All right.